Hey, listen, I quit. Yeah, I'm going into stocks.
Name of the game. Move the money from your client's pocket into your pocket.
But if you can make your clients money at the same time, it's advantageous to everyone, correct?
No one is paying attention. It's unbelievable.
Have to act now.
God, this is intimate. I feel like I'm financially inside of you or something.
Okay.
I have 5 houses and a condo.
I'm considering going long on April wheat. What do you think, Valentine?
Alright, so hi guys, welcome to what will be the most extensive program you've ever undertaken on YouTube when it comes to trading and investments. Now I know there is a lot of content out there, but and of course correct me if I'm wrong. For those of you guys who have followed this content, one of the things that you would probably agree with me is that you are never going to find this content in a coherent manner. So you're going to be more or less looking at content that is disjointed, or you're looking at someone posting how well they're doing, for example, and maybe showing you 1 or 2 strategies that they say they use, right? So from your point of view, if you're a beginner, you just don't know what you need to be looking for. You just don't have a clue, right? It's a mishmash of information. It will probably, as some of you will already attest, it will probably take you years to put all of this together into a coherent framework. And in my opinion, it explains a lot why people are not really successful at this business. So this is effectively what I'm going to change with what I'm going to do here. It is going to be so extensive. It's going to take someone from the beginning and it's going to take them to the end. And the good thing about it is it's going to be free. Now, the only thing I would ask people who go through this, and as they learn and gain value, which I'm 100% sure they will, as they learn and gain value and start to become profitable, that they subscribe, they like the video essentially, and give the channel a shout out. That is it. There is nothing else I require from anyone. I don't have any paid groups that you can join, but if you did, say for example, you wanted to consult with me one-to-one after you've gone through all of this and you feel like this is made for you and you want to engage me, then I will leave in the description below how I can be reached. I've approached this, a lot of you are probably asking, and I can hear this already, I've approached this largely from the point of view that I'm an anonymous trader, investor that is looking to give back to the market. Now, those of you who have followed the Greedy Trader channel for a while, or generally followed me, Greedy Trader, on social, wherever you found me, you would know that I largely kept my life private and anonymous. So I don't really have any talking head videos or anything like that that would probably give people the opportunity to criticize me or, you know, just be that kind of a person. I think the price that I paid as an individual to be able to do this and do this well is that I'm largely an introvert. And again, I'm not excited about being on camera. I'm not excited about making all these videos. What I'm excited about is trading and investing. I'm super excited about that. And if I feel that social is a good medium to be able to reach many traders who are looking to get into this or effectively do what I do, then I will essentially use that medium. But it doesn't mean I want to start a whole personality, a cult of personality around what I do in trading and investing. And I'm sure a lot of you watching this would agree that there's so many people who have cult of personalities online teaching people about trading and investing to the extent where it's no longer about trading and investing. It's about the cult of personality that is teaching them how to trade and invest. Now, while we all know, rather, and I know that celebrity culture is quite the thing these days. And obviously everyone wants some degree of fame, and with fame comes money. And we all understand that. And we understand that financial education is a big business. It's a booming business. It's because so many people want to learn how to trade and invest. But in light of that, what you do get is a lot of people who are going to lead a lot of people astray, basically. That's it in a nutshell. So I'm hoping that through this program, as you go through step by step, not only do you see the genuity of what I'm trying to bring to the table for you, right? Because it's not for me, right? I'm kind of already where I need to be with this. I already know what I know. For you, who's probably doing this for the first time, or even if you've been doing this for a while, but with maybe very little success, and you're wondering why is that the case? Then I'm doing this for you, right? So I think that's really, really important to probably get down in the beginning. Now, a lot of you are probably also going to be asking, well, you know, you're just another guy trying to do a video on YouTube. Okay, fair enough. One of the things I'm going to say to you is that I will be showing you from the get-go, so this is going to happen in this video, how profitable I am, right? So I'm going to be able to show you my equity curve, so you know that I'm already profitable. I'm a profitable trader, and I'm profitable long-term. Right. So some people would maybe show you a couple of clips of how they made X thousand a year, whatever or X thousand today, or X thousand in a week, or hundreds of thousands in a week. And, you know, if you've been in the business long enough, and some of the things I will teach you here will teach you what to look for when you encounter these kind of people. So I'm going to get this out of the way really quickly, right? I'm just going to go out there. I'm just going to put it up there for all of you to see, so it's no longer in dispute. So, you know, no one's ever going to come back to me and say, oh, by the way, can I see your P&L, or some other nonsense, right? In order to satisfy their own ego, or, you know, or their own points they're trying to make. I'm just going to come out with it. So once you guys can know and understand that I already know what I'm talking about, and I've been doing this for a very long time. To be precise, it's over 15 years. And I'm in my 40s, right? So again, I'm not a child. Now, there are a lot of people in their 20s doing this. And so you'd have to conclude that, you know, you've probably been trading for 2 or 3 years, and you might have even had some success or degree of success, maybe even, you know, doing the wrong thing ultimately, or having the wrong ideas to transmit. So what I'm going to do for you as a beginner is ensure that you do not go down this rabbit hole. You don't end up in a place where you feel like, I have to follow some guy on Twitter or something, you know, in order to be able to make this work for you. I'm going to give you a framework, a combined framework, which is going to combine 15 years of my knowledge of markets, what I know. I have spoken to some of the biggest traders in this business. What you guys don't know behind the scenes is I also run a podcast, and I interviewed a lot of traders, right? Traders who are essentially highly successful. And I will be combining all of this knowledge as well into what I'm going to teach you here today, in addition to my 15 years of experience in trading and investing. Now, I did not work in a bank. I do have an institutional trading background, i.e., I have worked with a hedge fund. I have worked with brokerage services. So I've worked for brokers, more on the trading and analytical front. I have a very strong background in technicals, if you would say that. So I have what you'd call an MTA, right? So I've done all these little steps. Now, none of this, right, and I'm going to reiterate, none of this is important or even relevant to what I'm going to teach you today. And that's because markets require hands-on experience. Now, I don't care if you are a market maker for Barclays, Goldman Sachs, or any of the other big banking outfits, because the one thing I can tell you is that banking does not qualify someone as a trader, right? Because the way trading is done in banking is largely from a market making point of view. So people don't have charts that they're looking at to make trades on behalf of their institutions. What they're doing is they're making a market. So effectively, if you want to buy something, they're going to be in a position to sell it to you, regardless of the price that you want to pay, right? So as a market maker, you are taking on a lot of counterparty risk. So you have to be a highly solvent institution, and banks tend to fit that bill. So they hire people who have the mathematical ability to understand the best way to make a market. And arguably now, algorithms have taken over that process. Some of the biggest names in the market making field are Citadel, for example, in the equities market, and Virtue in the currency markets. So these players are the ones that are now making the market, right? So if you ever heard of the word high frequency trading, that is exactly what these players do in order to create excessive amounts of liquidity that allows everyone to participate in the markets at high speeds, right? So banks don't get involved anymore in the business of trading per se in the way retail traders trade. That's just not how it works anymore. So it's irrelevant one's background in financial services when you come into the world of retail trading, which is largely what we're going to be talking about today, is retail trading. We're not going to be talking about institutional trading. I mean, again, you know, institutions, there are layers to them. There are institutions who are retail trading institutions, if you can put it that way. So they have large accounts, and they trade their own individual accounts, and those could be multi-millions. But they might have people who work for them, right? On the compliance side, they might be very large. So some of these firms are still trading at a retail level, but just a very big retail level, right? So not to say that people who have that kind of trading background are not going to be able to impart general knowledge to you. Of course they can, but they're still like everyone else in that the amount of money they're trading does not necessarily qualify them to be able to teach you anything per se without proof that they are extremely profitable themselves. It's very possible some of these firms who are institutional firms actually pay their traders maybe even a wage in order to trade for them. And this again doesn't necessarily qualify someone that they know more than, say, someone who's got a $2,000 account but is managing to make, so I don't know, 50-60% annually, right? That is pretty damn good despite it being a small account. That person probably has a really good strategy or system, but they're not an institutional trader, right? They're not trading at an institutional level. They don't work for a company trading. So also being an institutional trader doesn't really matter if you're not a successful institutional trader, or if someone's paying you a salary or giving you access to a lot of capital, which means that you can probably scalp your way around with no clear direction or understanding, with a lot of luck or just playing the probabilities. All of these things you can do if you have tons of capital. I mean, I think it was a very famous trader, I can't recall who it is, who says that if you have unlimited funds, it's one of the market wizards, for guys who probably read the books and probably want to reference this, is one of the quotes was that if you have unlimited amount of capital, you can't lose in the market, right? So some of these players have probably reached a point where they've pooled a lot of funds together and they're able to generate significant amounts of alpha without having any clear strategies in some cases, or rather any consistent strategies to be able to teach people to do this or replicate this kind of behavior. So I think it was important to clear this up, and to a lot of you, it might even seem like I'm having a bit of a rant or a ramble, but this is carefully crafted, guys. I'm doing this because I also want to make sure that people who are going to start this program have the attention span to complete it. Because one of the things that's going to happen to 50 or 60% of you listen, and for the ones that are still here, right, I guarantee you most of you have left this video from about a minute ago, right? Like, in fact, from when the video was just like a minute old, right? So for those of you who are still here, well, you're probably going to have to sit much longer, right? And so a lot of you, I estimate 60-70% of you are not going to be here by the end of the video. So this is to weed out the people who are not going to make it, who are going to do this program, and they're just, it's not going to work out, right? And what this allows me to do is to help the people who really want to be helped, right? Who are serious about this, because this program is going to be the biggest program I've ever done by hands down, and it's going to be free, right? And it's going to be able to teach you things that you're just going to be, your jaws are going to drop. I can guarantee it, right? You're just going to be like, how did I not know this? I mean, where did all those years go? So this is kind of what I'm going to bring you into, from the perspective of trading and investing. Now, to branch off from that, I think now's a good time to start talking about P&L. So I have an Interactive Brokers account. Like a lot of traders like me, caliber and quality, tend to go with brokers that are reliable. And we're going to talk about this through the course, right? But the people who offer you the other side of your trade, they have to be reliable, right? This is super, super, super important. So what you can see here is my portfolio over the course of 2023, right? And this is important to note because you can see to date, year to date, I'm doing a 38% return, right? So it's been a consistent flow, right? And note, this is my margin account, right? I also have a cash account, which we are not going to talk about today at all, right? But I have a margin account where most of my activity tends to happen with Interactive Brokers. And you can see I'm making a 38% return. So just to clear this up, right? And for guys who are in doubt, you can actually see if you already have an Interactive Brokers account, you can see that this is the main web platform's dashboard. I've chosen this option or route to show you because I can pull my performance stats out as opposed to using TWS, which in the end just leads you here anyway if you need any more detail. So you can clearly see that this is my account. You can see my pseudonym here, Greedy T. Obviously I've, what's the word? Sort of covered up details that I don't want you to see. I care about my privacy. So there's a lot of things I don't want you to see. I don't want you to know how much money I've got and all that other stuff because that's irrelevant to what I'm going to teach you. But I wanted you to be able to show you that over the course of the year, I'm profitable, right? So I'm more than qualified, not only in markets, trading and investing in general. I'm more than qualified to teach you what I'm going to teach you so you can generate that kind of return. And some of you be looking at this and I can already hear this, that, oh God, I know a guy who does 200% a year, 300% a year. But one thing I can guarantee you is that guy who does 200% a year, 300% a year is not going to be consistent, right? That goes without saying, right? Because it's not, I mean, how do I even put this? Let's say you have 100 grand and you make 100 grand on top of the 100 grand every year, right? For 10 years, right? You're going to make pretty much $1 million, right? And we're not talking here, having the compounding effect, right? If you keep increasing size, you could easily go from 100 grand to 20 million. Now, how many people do you know? And I know you're going to tell me, oh, I know this guy called this and they run this program and, he's a profitable trader. And, the reality is I listen to it on a podcast or something of that nature. I know you're going to probably be saying that and you're going to be, thinking that. But the reality is that most of these people can't actually show you any definitive proof that they've actually done this. It's usually, it's on the grapevine or they're really popular on social media. So they've been able to at least proliferate this across their communities. And the money they make from their businesses as, selling courses or whatever else they do is normally enough for them to be able to buy whatever they want to buy and give the impression that they're actually traders who are generating huge amounts of return. But the reality is that some of these guys are borderline profitable or just unprofitable. Now, typically, and don't take it from me, go on Google, do a search, look around, do what it is you want to do to find out. But typically, you're going to find that the average hedge fund or institution tends to make roughly about 5 to 10% a year. The most profitable firms, so I'm going to take an example now, someone we all know, Paul Tudor Jones, I believe made at one point around 60% annual return. Now, of course, these guys have huge amounts of capital, so that by itself is kind of very, very impressive, right? But the reality of it is that making a 40-50% return annually on capital is phenomenal, right? The reality of it is that, you know, I get offers all the time for people who want to manage money and want me to do all kinds of things because of this return. Right? So the reality is if you can return this much in a year, I mean, and bear in mind for me at the peak of my portfolio this year, I was returning roughly about 55%, as you can see from the peak. So that is pretty damn decent, right? So in reality, this is a good return, and I'm outperforming many firms, right? Many big firms that are paid money to do this on a month-to-month, year-to-year basis. I'm outperforming them, right? So I'm more than qualified, and I'm, and again, if you want to buy into that BS of, I turn 10,000 to $1 million. If you want to buy into that, by all means. This is not the program for you. That is not what I'm going to teach you to do. I'm not going to be able to teach you to turn 1,000 into 10 million. It's impossible, right? But if you believe that it's possible and you can do this consistently, then I wish you very well. This is probably not the video for you. You should probably just switch off right now and then go do what it is you do. But if you're a beginner and you've been hearing a lot about investing and trading, or maybe say you've been doing it for a long time and you haven't really been successful, and you've been hearing a lot about it, and you see this and you think this could be the guy, right? This could be it. This could be the program, and it's all free. You're not, it's not costing you a thing. Then you're going to be able to sit through this, and this is definitely what you need to be looking at. This is going to be the course for you, and I'm going to teach you everything step by step, right? So there's nothing, no stone I'm going to leave unturned, to the point where when I've finished, you could definitely qualify yourself as someone who has the capability to manage their own finances. And if you can get your state requirements, if you're in the US, to manage other people's money, or if you're in Europe, you can get, the regulatory body's approval, then I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to manage money without any issues whatsoever. I'm going to be able to take you through asset classes. So I'm not only just going to teach you about Forex or teach you about, because most people, they don't even understand how this stuff works, right? It's like, oh, I'm a Forex trader, or I'm a stock trader. I trade small caps, or I only trade large caps. But they don't really know what they're talking about. They have no clue what they're talking about. They don't understand how money moves. And I'm going to show you with a lot of evidence, lots and lots of evidence, that this is how the game is played. And if you play it that way, I can give you an iron cast guarantee that you're going to come off the other end without highly successful. You're going to be very proud of what you've achieved, and it would 100% not be a waste of your time. So just to kind of touch on that point, so I'm going to take you from the very beginning, right? So unlike most investing programs, I'm going to cover every little thing, right? What is trading? We're going to talk about that, right? Because there's no point starting a course in trading for a beginner. Some people don't even know what it's trading. You might be watching this and thinking, I just heard about trading from my uncle or from my cousin or friend. But I really, really genuinely don't know what that is, how it works. Is it a scam? Is it not? I'm going to answer those questions for you, right? I'm even going to go to the extent of talking about what is a long or shorter position. Now, if you're totally new, you don't know this. If you've been doing this for maybe 6 months, you probably do, right? But the reality is that I want us to be clear from the beginning what's what is defined as what. And, you know, you're not going to hear what I'm going to teach you. You're not going to hear anywhere else. You're not going to be able to tune into another, you know, someone else offering you're not going to hear any of this stuff, right? This stuff is the kind of stuff that no one wants to expose, talk about, because it's the kind of stuff that they know that it doesn't help them as counterparties to your trade. And we're going to talk all about that. By the time we get to the midway point of this, I'll be teaching you about assets. So that's where it comes in. You know, what is Forex, right? Why is Forex good or bad to participate in? Right? When were the best times in it? You know, whether it's even possible to make money from that kind of trading or trading that asset. And I'll give you overwhelming proof, right? So you can see historically whether people made money or was there a better investment to make or whether there were better asset to trade. So I'm going to be able to show you proof, right? So it's clear. By the time we get to the final stretch, you would understand fully about brokers. You'll understand what brokers do and how some of these brokers can cheat you if you go with the wrong one, and it could give you a completely bad, terrible experience of what trading and investing is. And then you might never even continue it, right? And so this part of the business is really important because you cannot access the market without going through an intermediary. And they're brokers who they're the kind of intermediaries that work with exchanges so they can, you know, put your orders into an exchange. Like, for example, if you're trading stocks, and they're brokers who they just book all your trades. And we'll talk about how that works, how brokers make themselves the sole counterparty to all the positions within their closed network, and how they're incentivized to ensure that you don't make money so they can make money, right? And it's just the business, right? There's always a counterparty. There's a buyer to a seller. I mean, for those of you who are doubting this or are trying to maybe come up with notions, you know, I'll just take a very popular situation, right? And this is with an exchange broker. And that just goes to show you how much the business has changed. Is this situation with Robinhood and GameStop. We all remember that going back about a few years ago now, where we had that situation where Robinhood, you know, turned off its brokerage, right? Because too many people they had to be counterparty to too many people who were taking these trades, right? And they were costing their liquidity providers money as well, which was Citadel. So again, you know, the whole system came under threat. I mean, Congress in the US got involved. I mean, if you're outside of the US, I mean, you were just literally fair game to these guys, right? So it just goes to show, and if that's not proof enough, that the intermediaries are very important. The intermediary you go with is important, because even at the top of the food chain, if it gets really bad, I can assure you they will switch this whole thing off, right? There's one big casino, they'll just turn it off. So I'll save you countless hours that you would have otherwise invested in trying to find this information and put it into a manageable framework, so you understand not just the trade you're doing or the investment you're making, but you also understand the risk you're taking and how to manage that risk over time, and what events are going to mean that you're going to have to withdraw from the marketplace in order to prevent yourself getting caught up in any kind of black swan event or any kind of counterparty risk. So you're going to become a professional in choosing how you want to participate in this business. You're going to stop being the sheep, and I like to say you're going to be the sheepdog, right? Because it's never a good idea to be a wolf. You know, the sheepdog keeps the sheep in line and keeps the wolf at bay, and that's kind of where you want to be. And that's how I've always viewed life, is that, you know, wolves, you don't want to be a wolf because then everyone's coming after you. The hunter wants to kill you. You equally don't want to be a sheep, because then that's the worst. Most people end up as sheep because they don't really have any guidance, and it's not their fault. The sheepdogs are selfish, right? The sheepdogs just care about themselves, so they just make sure the sheep doesn't get out there, get caught by the wolves, and make sure the wolves don't come in and get the sheep, right? So a sheepdog is kind of that middle ground where you want to be. As a sheepdog, you're capable. You can defend yourself. You can work stuff out. You know, if you get caught up with a wolf, it's probably going to kill you, but the wolf is scared enough of the sheepdog that it doesn't want to pick that kind of a fight. After all, it just wants to get the sheep. So I consider myself a sheepdog, right? And at the end of the day, I think that a lot of people have to stop being sheep and more people need to be sheepdogs, right? But in any case, guys, I'm looking forward to doing this with you guys. I'm looking forward to creating this. It's going to be amazing. This is just an introduction. And in the coming days and weeks, I will be collecting this and putting it together in an understandable framework in a way that if you're a total beginner, you totally get this and you can become something great. And if you are doing for a couple of years, can't turn a profit, then you need to be watching this, right? Because sometimes the mistake is not in what you're doing. It is probably maybe in what you're trading or how you're trading that. And again, my experience is spanning a lot of years. I've traded almost every market out there, from treasury bonds right down to Forex. I've done it all, right? Now crypto is sparked up, and, whilst to be honest, I'm not going to touch a lot on crypto because it's not, I'm a huge fan, right? Massive fan of Bitcoin, but again, a lot of these other cryptos, it's a new ecosystem. It's unregulated. I don't want to get anyone excited about crypto, right? But I can safely assure you that, we will talk about assets that have a lot of liquidity, like Bitcoin, for example, that are more, in my opinion, a little bit more reliable. Some of you will be shouting, what about Ethereum? Yes, these are all major, or in the realm of what you might want to consider large cap, type cryptos that probably have a lot going on with them. But you just want to be careful. So for that reason, we're going to touch on this maybe briefly, since it's an emerging asset class. And I do want to kind of let you know about digital assets, because if tomorrow you wake up and Bitcoin's $1 million, you'll be like, that guy who taught me how to trade didn't tell me about digital assets, and now look, I've been wasting my time with stocks. We are dealing, Bitcoin is an asset that has 21 million Bitcoin. It's highly tight in supply, and we're going to talk about the relationship between demand and supply. And, it could go to 1 million, right? It's not out of the bounds of reality. It's just not. It's, in an equity market, you are going to find stocks that are trading over just look at Berkshire Hathaway stock, and that's just because of the float. It's really tiny, right? So when something is limited in supply, it tends to command a higher price. And you will see this a lot in crypto, because the whole crypto ecosystem was built out to oppose the Keynesian economic model, and it's more down the route of the Austrian economic model. And that's kind of why Bitcoin, or anything surrounding Bitcoin, tends to have a lot to do with restricting the supply element to push the price up, right? So you will see, you'll see this, but again, in crypto, the corruption of the people who own these cryptos is what is going to keep this market subdued. And most people are going to go into Bitcoin and Ethereum, and the stuff that they know is not going to be manipulated in the same way. Now, if you're trying to chase, I don't know, what other crypto coin out there, and you think it's going to make you the next millionaire, the chances are that it's not, because the founders are going to do something dodgy, and that's going to crush that asset before you know it's going to happen, and you're going to be left holding the bag. I mean, it's what happened, we saw in the last cycle, it's what happened in the cycle before that, and it's what happened in the cycle before that, right? And before these cryptos emerged, it was just Bitcoin, and as you can see, a lot of people who were early into Bitcoin were highly successful. And not to say that this trend won't continue in Bitcoin, it probably will. I think, a lot of people are going to make a lot of money from digital assets, but, all this other stuff like the NFTs, this and that, it's just something that I don't understand enough to get into it. It might be totally legit and valid, but that is not what I'm going to teach you about here. I'm going to teach you about what I know, and the sure bet. That's kind of the whole point about this. I'm going to give you the sure bet, the one that's going to put you in a good position. And I'm going to talk about anything where the risk is so unknown that it's just no point. That's not what we're going to do here. But awesome stuff. Thank you so much for having taken the time to listen to me, and I hope you join me in the channel. Subscribe, because these courses are going to be dropping, day by day, week by week. It's, I want us to really stay in tune with what's going on here. So subscribe if you haven't. If you intend to do this program, the only way you're going to know that this stuff is out is if you hit the notification bell after you've subscribed. Otherwise, you're not going to know. You'll have to remember to come and search for this, right? And just take a moment to think. that I'm going to give you something for free that no one else will give you for free, right? I'm going to pretty much put an end to the idea that you can't get free training here on YouTube and you can't get good free training. And I'm sure there are a lot of professionals who are going to watch this and going to go like, this is damn good. Like, why are you doing this? And I know that a lot of people are going to watch it and going to be like, we got to kill this in the cradle. Like, we got to put an end to this. Stop. Done. This guy can't be doing this. You know, it's going to hurt our businesses. Right. So, but the good news is I'm not highly social. So I'm not going to be marketing this like crazy. If you find it, you're watching this now, kudos. If you don't, you don't. Because again, the idea is to give back, to make sure people understand how this business is done. And if people want to sort of engage with me, that's fine. I don't have too many social handles, but I'll make available how you can reach me. I've got a private Discord server, which is free as well. And if you want to kind of engage with me there, you can. You know, we go from there, right? If it becomes overwhelming, if it becomes too difficult to deal with, maybe this whole thing just goes flat. No one ever even picks this up. But if it becomes something big and everyone is excited to do it, then, you know, and it becomes a bit of an issue for me in terms of communication, then who knows, I might just get everyone to pay to join the Discord. I mean, that way it compensates my time, but we're not there yet. Everything I'm going to give you today is going to be free and for the foreseeable future, right? I'm not going to charge you a penny. But thank you very much, guys. I hope you enjoyed this initial introduction, because this is me, this is my personality, this is how I go hard, right? So you're going to be seeing a lot of this. I don't mince my words. I'm going to be pretty direct and I'm going to tell you the deal, right? I'm going to be completely unrestrained, and you guys are welcome to challenge me in the comments. I don't care. You know, I'll look at them. You know, most of your comments are going to get vetted to avoid spam. So anything you put up, I'm going to read it. I'm going to post it up. If I feel it helps the community, if it's just spam or it's just someone being an idiot, then I'm going to ditch it, right? No one's going to see it, because that's it. You know, for me, not into, I'm an older millennial. I'm not into all this new age, like, you know, don't censor me kind of thing. If it's awkward and it doesn't help the community, I'll censor it. So this is me. This is my personality. This is what you're going to get. As you go through the program, I'm going to make it fun. I'm going to make it exciting. You know, this is not always going to be a rant. I'm not always going after people. You know, everyone's entitled to do what they want to do, but you are going to find that you're going to see this kind of energy from time to time, because I think it's important that people coming into this know that this is not easy, right? This is, I'm trying to make this your ticket, but it was never going to be your ticket. Right? Doing it the way you were doing it, it was never going to be a ticket. But awesome stuff, guys. Thank you very much. And I look forward to seeing some of you back here.
Hey, listen, I quit. Yeah, I'm going into stocks.
Name of the game. Move the money from your client's pocket into your pocket.
But if you can make your clients money at the same time, it's advantageous to everyone, correct?
No.
No one is paying attention.
It's unbelievable.
Have to act now.
God, this is intimate. I feel like I'm financially inside of you or something.
Okay.
I have 5 houses and a condo.
I'm considering going long on April wheat. What do you think, Valentine?